Hey guys, I'm back with a video here. We've been kind of slacking off on our videos. Had a bunch of stuff going on, been busy. So I thought I'd make one while I was doing this little project today. Today what we're doing is installing spring perches for a 55 Chevy. And this is pretty straightforward work or whatever. As always, I'm gonna put my disclaimer out there. You know, I'm no pro, but I do this stuff and it works for me. And I haven't had any problems with the way that I do stuff so far. So this is a 68 to 72 Chevelle 12 bolt that we're building, and I'll make another video about setting the setup and all that stuff here in a little while, maybe this weekend. But what we're doing is we're gonna put this in our 55 Chevy. And so we took this housing and cut all the ears and brackets and everything off of it. So now I've got the center section in it there. And I've heard, I don't know if it's true or not, that if you stick the axles in there with the center section in, it can help to prevent warpage a little bit. But, you know, you try not to get no warpage at all, but whatever. I just did it for extra measure. So I guess the first thing you need to start with is getting where your perch is right. And so what I do is, you see these little pieces of aluminum here. I get a little piece of angler aluminum or whatever and get it on that backing plate flange because the tape measure on these won't go over the hump. So I take those pieces of aluminum right there and stand them up off the side. And then that way you can measure from the backing plate flange to the backing plate flange. Inside, outside, whatever, it doesn't matter. You just want a measurement. That's so you can get your center. And so you'll put those on there and measure across them. And so I'll make this easy. This isn't exact measurements, but say your measurement is 55 from these two, and your center of your spring perches, you want 45. So you come up with 10 inches, and then you want to divide that in two for each side. And so then you measure from here. I make a center line on these. So you're going to measure from here, from where you measured to the first time to here. It'll be 5 inches on each side. So that will tell you, you know, where your perch needs to be. Now, you know, you can clean it up and stuff like that and get them set. And I mark them with a Sharpie marker right there before I get and clean everything up. Now the second part of the equation is you want to get your pinion angle right. And I've been doing tri-fives for so long, I know about where it's supposed to be on the jack stands. Of course, the correct way to do it is put the housing in the car and set it, then tack your brackets, your perches, take it back out and finish weld it. It's the correct way to do it. This is going to be a little street car. I know about where I want it at. A factory one is 3 degrees down, pinion down. And so I got this one at like 4 right there. So you want to put your angle finder here. Now remember that the rear end's upside down, so you've got to go up. You want to put your angle finder on something flat here and put your pinion angle here. So don't go the wrong way and thinking down, because down is up, up is down. So you want to jack the front of it up. And I just use this jack stands and a little floor jack. And you can fine tune it and adjust it with the floor jack. So it's got to come up. So when you flip it over, it's going to be down. You know, I'm going to put about 4 degrees in this one, 4 or 5 degrees. That'll get me somewhere. We're just using slapper bars with it. So I can always put a wedge in there if I really want to fine tune it, but the car ain't ready yet and I want to get this done. So after you get that made in, then you want to put a level on your perches and get them perfectly level. So then when it's flipped over and this is sitting on the springs, you're going to have your however many degrees down on your pinion. Now when you weld these perches on, you only want to go about 1 inch at a time. It can be ugly. I mean, I guess if you got a TIG welder, it's not going to be, but it can be ugly when you're just doing little 1 inch sections. But you want to do 1 inch here, go to the other side over there and do 1 inch over there. Let everything cool down and just go a little bit at a time, because you want to make big full passes on these things, and you can warp the axle tubes on them. So you just want to tack them in, double, triple check everything, and before you get to burning real hard on this thing. This mount here, I had to grind on it a little bit. It was crooked. So, you know, you would think for $10 that I spend on these things, those Chinese kids could get them, you know, precision, but hey, whatever. I had to take the grinder to it and get it straight. But I did a little measuring, and I got a straight edge, a square that I put along it, and I'll make sure that it is, and then measuring off the other side, make sure it's square on there. And this one in particular is tri-5 or 46 inches to the center with the stock spring location, which is what we're using. And this ain't no precision race car deal. This is a little street car we're doing. So let me get these welded on, and we'll be back. All right, folks, we're back. Perches are on. We got a little self-etching primer sprayed on them. I like that stuff, the green stuff in the can. You gotta let it sit for a while, but it works pretty good. Pretty strong stuff. If I ever go to grind it off, it's kind of tough to get off. So I'm a fan of it. It keeps everything from rusting and just puts a nice base down for your paint. We're gonna probably do this one. I actually got the backing plates already painted over here, glossy, and then we'll do the rear end housing semi-gloss. Got some good aftermarket axles for it and all that stuff in there and all that, but she's ready to go in a 55 Chevy now, tri-5 Chevy. Of course, my welds aren't the most beautiful things in the world, but it's hard to get it it's hard for me as an amateur to get them to look good when you're doing you know, 1 inch at a time. You got to keep starting over, but that's what I did to, you know, try to keep the heat down so we don't warp your tubes. It's not really a involved project, but it's something that, you know, might help somebody out with a couple ideas of how to get your pinion angle right and all that kind of stuff. This one ended up at stock is 3 degrees, and I put this one at like 4.5. That's what I think some of my other cars liked. And this car is not going to be way high up in the air, drag raced or anything like that. So I think that'll work out good. And Camaros and stuff. I think first gen Camaros are 6 or 6.5 down on the factory purchase. So there it is, folks. Fun little project. Something I always enjoy doing. I kind of like doing this one for some reason. You got to use a little math. Put your brain in gear. And I will be back here soon. Like I said, I already got this thing set up and shimmed correctly, and we nailed it on the pinion. The pinion setup is beautiful with our friend Ethan Samuels helped me with that. I've done several of them, but this is the first one I actually tried to make perfect and do it right. And so we're going to be doing some assembly probably this weekend. We're waiting for a couple parts. So there we go, folks. I think we'll have a 12 bolt up and running here in a minute. Y'all have a good evening.